On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to welcome you to Como Connect, powered by Como Electric Cooperative's 85th annual meeting. My name is Gene Eulinger. I'm president of the Board of Directors, and we appreciate all of you coming and attending our meeting today. At this time, I would like to call Jason Martin to come forward and give our invocation and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and introduce the performer for the national anthem.
Thank you, Gene. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today, gathered in this annual meeting of our electric cooperative to seek your guidance and blessings. We acknowledge that all good things come from you, and we humbly ask for your presence and wisdom to be with us throughout this gathering. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to serve our community. We recognize the importance of this cooperative in meeting the needs of our members and enhancing the quality of their lives. We pray that you would grant us the wisdom and discernment to make decisions that are fair, just, and beneficial for all those we serve. Let our discussions be fruitful with a focus on the well-being of our cooperative and the betterment of our community. Lord, we also lift up our cooperative's employees and their families. Grant them safety as they carry out their daily tasks and bless their efforts to provide reliable and efficient services. Strengthen their bonds of teamwork and enable them to work with diligence and integrity. Heavenly Father, we pray for your provisions and guidance in the face of challenges and uncertainties. Help us to navigate any obstacles that may arise, whether they be technical, financial, or logistical. Grant us the vision to adapt to changing times and the courage to embrace new opportunities that align with your will. Finally, Lord, we give thanks for your abundant blessings upon our cooperative in the past year. We are grateful for your faithfulness and provision. May your hand continue to be upon us as we move forward, allowing us to serve our members and community with excellence and integrity. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please help me welcome Logan Petrie to the stage for the singing of our national anthem.
I would like to ask that everyone remove their hats and put their attention on the flag to my right. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we marched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land and of the free and the home of the brave?
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Bradshaw, and I am the CEO of Como Connect. I'm very excited to introduce our guest speaker this year, Dan Mears. Dan goes to work each day like a lot of other guys, dressed in a suit. The only difference is, instead of wearing a tie, he wears a tail. So you see, Dan has been involved with a very unusual occupation for the past 32 years. He has served as Casey Wolf, the mascot of your Kansas City Chiefs. Go Chiefs! Dan averages more than 350 appearances each year and has traveled throughout the United States and around the world, entertaining fans of all ages. In 2006, Dan became the first NFL mascot to be inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame. When he began his career with the Chiefs back in 1990, Dan never thought that 3 decades later he would still be wearing a costume, but as Dan's wife likes to say, old mascots never die, they just smell like it. So the best way ultimately for me to introduce Dan is by showing you a short video of him in action. So before he gets up here, I'd like you to witness the amazing Dan. So with that, thank you, sir. Just pretend you hear music right now.
Heavy metal thunder, racing with the wind, and the feeling that I'm under. Yeah, I gotta go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. Like a true nature's child, we were born to be wild. We can climb so high, I never wanna die. Born to be wild. Born to be wild.
There you go. Thank you. Hey, you want to know the best thing about that video you just saw? I get paid to do that. Isn't that amazing? So, well, hey, great to be with you tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to come out and to share. You know, I just got back from Las Vegas not too long ago. I didn't go out there to gamble, okay? I did get my picture in front of the famous Welcome to Vegas sign. And then I drove across town, got my picture in front of the Elvis Chapel. My parents and my mom was excited about that right there. And then there was one other thing I got to do in Vegas. My team won the Super Bowl. So, I hope you're Chiefs fans. Even if you're not a Chiefs fan, I know what you guys are all excited about right now. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift like each other. Anybody else tired of hearing about that relationship? Yeah, me too. I don't know if you heard, there's a rumor going around Kansas City right now. I don't know if you've heard it here yet, but that Taylor is just using Travis to get to Casey Wolf. Now, I want you to know that is just a rumor. I have no desire to date Taylor Swift, even though I did get my picture with her. Yeah, so I want you to know I about got tasered trying to get that picture with Taylor Swift, but I thought, you know, I'm in a costume. Surely a taser can't hurt that bad, right? And so, But, you know, I've had a lot of fun working for the Chiefs recently because I've got to go to several Super Bowls. You know, this was Super Bowl 58. Here's a picture from Super Bowl 57. We won that one too, by the way. You know, never gets old saying that. But as you can see, they shoot off a little bit of confetti if you win the Super Bowl. And then I got a picture from Super Bowl 56. That's me on my couch at home. Didn't get to go to that one thanks to the Cincinnati Bengals. But I did bring from a few from Super Bowl 55, the COVID Super Bowl. That's me and the Buccaneers mascot in front of the stadium before the game. Here's a picture of me inside the stadium before kickoff. And then here's a picture of me after the game. That one didn't go the way we wanted it to, but that's okay because also happened to have a couple pictures from Super Bowl 54. This turned out better. This is right after the game. I was on the field again. Some guy walked up. He was like, "Wolf, you want your picture with the Super Bowl trophy?" And I'm like, "Heck yes, I want my picture with a Super Bowl trophy." Here's a picture of me and the 49ers mascot on Miami Beach. And then my favorite picture, somebody sent me a picture of me sunbathing on Miami Beach right there. Yeah, probably wasn't supposed to show that, but I'm on the bottom of the screen on that picture. And then my other favorite picture is this one. I got to lead the Chiefs onto the field for the Super Bowl. And I tell folks, I love that photo, but don't be too impressed. The only person I outran on Super Bowl Sunday was Andy Reid, our head coach. And Andy, I don't know if you've seen Andy or if you know him. Great guy, great coach. He's not very quick, to be honest with you. But it is good to be with you all today. As I said, my name is Dan Mears. I live in Kansas City. Back in Kansas City, I'm kind of known as the man that's got the strange occupation. Okay, I'm a mascot. Now, when you're a mascot, there's two questions that people always ask. Number one, is it hot in your costume? Yes, it is. If you get up close, you'll know it's hot, okay? Mascots, we all use the same cologne. It's called Febreze. You can get it at Walmart, okay? But we use a lot of that stuff. And then the other question, the one I get the most, is how did you get that job? You know, how did you become a mascot? Well, some of you might know I got my start back in college. I dressed up in a tiger suit at the University of Missouri. Now, you Tiger fans, I hope? Okay. Last week I spoke in Kansas. That is not the response they gave me in Kansas, okay? But if you know, I was Truman the Tiger, did that for 4 years in college, and then I graduated. That made mom and dad really happy because you know this, all the smart students graduate magna cum laude. I graduated thank the laude, okay? So I graduate. Mom and dad are excited, and they're like, "Son, we're proud, but you got to get a job." So if you know, first job I got after 4 years of college, went out, I got my first job working in professional baseball. I dressed up in a bird suit for the St. Louis Cardinals, okay? Now, if you're a Cardinals fan, Cardinals mascot's character called Fredbird. I know there's a lot of Cardinals fans here in Tipton, but the St. Louis Cardinals. But if you're a Cardinals fan, Cardinals mascot's character called Fredbird. If you look at that picture, you can tell the guy that was Fredbird before me was a short guy. I'm pretty tall. I meant his feathers covered up a lot more than my feathers covered up in the bird outfit. So I'm running around St. Louis in a bird suit. I get a call from the Chiefs. They wanted to know if I'd be this guy, Casey Wolf. And I thought, you know, I bet I'll look a lot better going to work each day in gray fur than yellow tights, right? And so I took the job in Kansas City, and I've been with the Chiefs. I just finished my 34th season with the Chiefs this year. Yeah, thank you. I know some of you are out there thinking that's a long time to avoid a real job, and you're right, but I love what I do. You know, folks always ask, what's the best thing about being a mascot? Well, number one, I get paid that goofy, which is nice. Used to get in trouble for that in school, and I get a paycheck for it. So there's hope for some of you kids, okay? Number two, I tell folks, I go to work each day in a suit and a tail instead of a suit and a tie, so I don't have to get too dressed up each day. Number three, I get to meet all the Chiefs players, get to know those guys, which is kind of interesting. And number four, I get to hug all the Chiefs cheerleaders too, even though I don't do that near as much though, because about 30 years ago, this wolf got married to a fox, and the fox does not like me hugging cheerleaders any longer. And I was going to bring my wife with me today, but she couldn't make it. But I did bring a picture of her. There she is. That's my trophy wife right there. You can tell we've been married a while. We're starting to look alike after 30 years. And here's the rest of my family. That's all of us right there. Everybody looks alike in my family. We all get a big nose, big ears. And then here's us out of costume, me with my shirt off. And me with my shirt back on again. But my wife's in the red sweater. I've got 3 great kids. My oldest daughter in the green jacket. She graduated from college 4 years ago, and I was all excited. I thought I finally got one of them off the payroll. And then she fell in love, got engaged. Guess who paid for a wedding last year? Yeah. If I look broke, I am. My son, he got married 3 years ago. He is now in medical school at the University of Missouri, which I find that kind of funny. His dad is a mascot. He's going to be a doctor. Thought there was a gene thing that was supposed to get passed, but apparently that gene came from his mom. And my youngest daughter there in the white sweater, she's the athlete in the family. She actually played college volleyball at Louisiana Tech down in Ruston, Louisiana. But I love being a dad. All 3 of my kids got to bring me in for show and tell back in kindergarten. Kind of fun. I even got to trick or treat with them too about 18 years ago. And of course, I went as the wolf. My kids were the 3 little pigs that year. So good times. But you know, I tell people, being a mascot is a great job, but the absolute greatest job in the world is being a dad. I love it. But now my kids are older. They're off at college. They're getting married. So my wife and I, we're empty nesters. And we're like, what do empty nesters do? So, you know what we did? We sold our house, and then we bought a house on a lake. And I never dreamed how much fun a mascot could have on a lake. And, of course, my wife calls me the lake rat now, but last summer I've been tubing. I'm getting pretty good at water skiing in a costume. And by the way, if you look at that picture, it doesn't look like the wolf's got a life jacket. That's because I can't get a life jacket over my costume. But under the outfit, under all the fur, I got 2 life jackets on because, listen, that suit gets real heavy when he's wet. And I tell people I love Jesus, but that is not how I want to meet him, is water skiing in a wolf outfit, okay? And I'll show you why mascots wear 2 life jackets. This is the ski show at the lake I live at. They do it on the 4th of July every year. Of course, they always want the wolf to be a part of the ski show. Check out my start this year. I'm in the orange shorts there. Look pretty good at this point. Then things went south in a hurry. So that's why you wear 2 life jackets and a costume. But every now and then I'll take the wave runner out. But I'll tell you what gets our neighbors' attention at the lake more than anything else is when we take the whole family out on the pontoon boat together. And honestly, I'm not really sure if that's against our homeowner policy or not, but we don't care. We're having fun. You notice that pontoon rides a little low on the backside when the whole family gets in there together. But you know, y'all, I love what I do. Being a mascot, it's just so much fun. But I once read this, that if you ask a man his occupation, all you're going to do is you're going to find out how he pays his bills. But if you ask a man his preoccupation, then you'll discover the passion of his life. Well, my occupation is mascot. I pay my bills running around in a costume. It's not rocket science, trust me. But my preoccupation, what I am truly passionate about in this life, for me it is simply 3 things. Number 1 is my faith. Number 2 is my family. And number 3 is just using my life to make a positive impact in this world that I live in. You know, I fully believe this, that God did not put us on this earth to make a living. He put us here to make an impact. And, you know, I believe we're called to be difference makers in this world that we live in. And, you know, as I was thinking about what I wanted to share tonight, I thought about a quote that is on my desk at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The quote says this. It says, "Your life is like a coin. You can spend it any way you wish, but you're only going to spend it one time, so spend it wisely." And you know, I love that quote because that quote reminds me every day that I get to make choices, right? Every day I get to choose how I'm going to live this life. You know, again today I get to decide how I'm going to spend my coin. And, you know, I always talk to my kids about their choices because when you think about it, the choices we make each day, that's what's writing out our life stories. And every one of us here, we're all writing a life story. every day is another sentence. And I once read that since you're the author of your story, ultimately I believe God's the author of our stories, but we're kind of co-authors in this deal, right? But since you're one of the co-authors, you get to decide every day whether the sentence you write is going to end with a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. And, I've always tried to teach my kids, do your best to live each day you get so that it ends with an exclamation point. And, in the short time that I do have with you tonight, I promise I'm not going to talk too long. You got to watch Mascots. In my costume, I'm not supposed to talk, so when I take my head off, you know what happens? Make up for lost time. I could go, but I won't do that to you tonight because I'm sure I've got a longer drive home than you've got tonight, okay? But, as I was thinking, they asked me to come in and share a little bit of my own life story tonight. And if I was going to be honest, I would tell you the chapter of my life story I'm going to share, in many ways, it's my least favorite because it's been the most difficult, been by far the most painful. But the reason I share it is in other ways I see it as one of the great chapters of my life story because through this chapter, I've learned some incredibly valuable life lessons. But the chapter I'm going to share, it begins November the 23rd, 2013. I tell folks that I'll always remember the day because on that day, I literally came within inches of losing my life. Now, thankfully, instead of losing my life, I spent 9 days in a hospital and I got some big scars. And I had a guy tell me once that scars are just tattoos that come with a cool story, right? Well, tonight, I'm not going to show you my scars. If I do that, I'll never get invited back to another one of these meetings, trust me. So I promise not to show off my scars, but I do want to share just a little bit of my story. But the question that I've been asked hundreds of times over the past, it's been about 10 and a half years now, is what happened to you? How'd you get hurt? And if you're a Chiefs fan, some of you might know this, best way for me to answer that question is by telling you that Casey Wolf got to go for his very first bungee jump, and let's just say things did not turn out good for me, okay? See, I'm not only an NFL mascot, I'm also a failed bungee jump survivor. Not a lot of guys get to say that, okay? Kind of a small niche I've created for myself at this point in my life. But tonight I'm going to share with you what happened, but more importantly, I'm going to share with you the greatest lessons I've learned since that day. But November the 23rd of 2013 was a Saturday. I woke up bright and early that morning. I drove to a little town in northern Missouri called Chillicothe. Great little community up there for their holiday parade. So Casey Wolf's in the parade, Santa Claus is in the parade, whole bunch of horses are in this parade. Every horse in Chillicothe had eaten a whole bunch of fiber the day before that parade, too, I found out as I tried to walk down Main Street. But once I get done with the parade, I get back in my car, drive back to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where I was going to practice a stunt that I was going to perform the next day at the Chiefs game. We were going to play the San Diego Chargers, or now the LA Chargers, and I was going to bungee jump and zip line into our stadium. Now, how that works, we hire a company that comes in, they set up a zip line. Zip line attaches to the lights at the top of the stadium, stretches all the way across the football field to the lights on the other side of the stadium. Then they attach a bungee cord to that zip line, okay? Sounds perfectly safe, right? Yeah, that's what my wife said too. But now, I know that's hard to understand, so I'm going to show you a short video. Don't get nervous. This is not me getting hurt, but this will give you an idea of what I was doing the day I did get hurt. Now, best part of the video, at the end, you'll see what it looks like 260 feet above the football field at Arrowhead Stadium. Doesn't that look like fun? You say a college degree from the University of Missouri came in handy. And here's what it looks like from up top. I love watching your faces out there. I see some of you shaking your head thinking, that guy's not very bright. And so, but the plan was for me to dress up in my suit, jump out of the top lights at the top of the stadium. I was supposed to fall about 20 feet. The bungee cord was supposed to catch me, bounce me back into the air, and then I was going to zip line out over the field like you just watched. So, supposed to be the greatest mascot entrance ever. Well, unfortunately, that day, things did not go as planned because when I jumped out of the lights, because of the slack in the zip line, instead of falling 20 feet, I fell approximately 70 feet, and I hit the seats in the upper level of our stadium. I hit the seats so hard, I knocked 2 seats out of the concrete. But not only did I damage the seats, they did a pretty good job on my body as well. I got to do something that day. It was never on my bucket list. They took me straight to the hospital in the back of an ambulance, got dried real fast in the back of an ambulance, and I wish I could have rode in one of those cool helicopters, but that wasn't an option apparently. But when I get to the hospital, here's what they discovered. They found I'd broken 7 ribs on my left side. I'd also collapsed my left lung. That's why I was struggling to breathe. My left lung had collapsed. I shattered my tailbone. I cracked my sacrum. I got a big gash on the back of my left leg here that required a lot of stitches. And then I got several units of blood because I'd lost a lot of blood after hitting the seats. But then my worst injury, they discovered I broke the T12 vertebrae in my back. And the next day I had surgery. I got these new titanium rods that stabilized that part of my spine. But here's what I remember most about that night of November the 23rd of 2013. Here's a picture of what I look like. And you probably think you don't look very good. Well, I didn't feel very good that night either. But what I remember most, the doctor walked into this hospital room. He told me all of my injuries, explained I was going to have surgery on my back the next day. He's walking out of the room. He got to the door. He turned around and he looked at me, and I'll never forget his words. He said, "Mr. Mears," he said, "I hope you realize tonight you're a very lucky man." He said, "If you fell 75 feet, he said, number 1, you're lucky you're still alive. He said, number 2, you're very lucky you're not paralyzed right now." And, you know, that night in that hospital, I thought a lot about my life. I thought a lot about what that doctor said. And you know, I thought a whole lot about that night is how I was choosing to spend my coin each day. And tonight, I'm going to share with you really quick the 3 greatest lessons that I've learned since that night in the hospital. And these are 3 lessons that I'm committed to living my life by from here on out. Number 1 is this: to live every day you get. Live it with character, live it with purpose, and live it with passion. Live your life with character, purpose, and passion. You know, I've got a good friend of mine, he likes to say this: we're all like a jug of milk. We all come with an expiration date, right? You know the only difference? Our expiration date's not printed on us, okay? For a while, I thought my expiration date might be November 23rd, 2013. Thankfully, that wasn't my expiration date. You know what I don't know? I don't know when my expiration date is, okay? If my wife thinks I'm dating Taylor Swift, it's probably going to be this weekend sometime, okay? But listen, I don't know when my expiration date is. You know what I do know is every day that I get between this day right here and that day, whenever that day comes, I intend to live this life to the fullest. I want to live it, like I said, with character, with purpose, and passion. And I challenge you to do the same. I challenge you, take every day you get and use it to be a blessing in somebody's life. Use it to make a positive impact in somebody else's world. You know, I want to share with you a quick quote that's on my desk at Arrowhead Stadium. I read this quote every morning. It's the first thing I do before I start work. But the quote says this. It says, "This is the beginning of a brand new day. God has given me this day to use as I will. I can waste it or I can use it for good. But what I do on this day is important because I'm exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day is going to be gone forever, leaving in its place something that I traded for it. I want it to be gain and not loss, good and not evil, success and not failure, in order that I shall not regret the price I paid for it." And you know, I love that quote because that quote reminds me, once again, today is God's gift to me, right? Today I get to choose how I'm going to live this life. I get to decide how I'm going to spend my coin. And I tell you, this day and every day I get between now and my expiration date, I intend to live with character, with purpose, and with passion. And let me share with you the second lesson I learned. It's something my mom tried to tell me in high school. I didn't think she was very smart at the time. And then come to find out a few years later, I was the one that wasn't that smart at the time. But I remember my mom used to always tell me and my brothers that the most important things in life aren't things. The most important things in life are relationships. And come to find out, Mom's a pretty smart gal, because as I spent 9 days in a hospital, not once did I think about how big my house was, how nice my car was, or whether I had the latest smartphone or not. Not once did I think about whether I had the latest fashion clothes either. As a matter of fact, for 9 days I wore that same outfit and it wasn't fashionable. It was well ventilated. I'll give it that. So you ever seen those hospital gowns? You ever got to wear one? You know what they say about wearing a hospital gown? It's kind of like owning a bad health insurance policy. You only think you're fully covered, right? A lot of truth to that. But, you spend 9 days in a hospital bed. You get a lot of time just to lay and think, and it was during those 9 days I was reminded over and over again that the most meaningful things in my life, it's not my things, it's not my stuff. You know what helped me get through 9 days in a hospital and then 6 months of very painful therapy and rehab, just day after day after day? 3 things: my faith, my family, my friends. And listen, all those things, all 3 of those are relationships. My faith, that's my relationship with the Lord. And I tell this to folks all the time. My goal as a man every day that I get out of bed, listen, it never changes, okay? My goal is the same every single day. Get up, go out, love other people. Not judge others. That's easy to do. Go out, love other people. That is not easy to do, because how many of you know this? Some people in the world are hard to love, okay? Don't act like you don't know them. And if you don't, come back to Kansas City. I'll introduce you to a few, okay? But listen, love them anyway, because listen, one of these days when my life story is complete, when people are sitting at my funeral, I could care less if they know I was in the Mascot Hall of Fame or not. You didn't even know there was a Mascot Hall of Fame, did you? Nobody does, you guys. I care less if I know how many years I spent as a mascot for the Chiefs or how many Super Bowls I may have gone to, because one day when my story's complete, I don't want to be remembered just for what I did. How I hope to be remembered that day is for who I was. And if the only thing people ever say about my life is that I love the Lord and I love people, I'm good with that. You put that on my tombstone, that's life lived well right there. But that's my faith. Secondly, it's my family, my wife, my kids, my parents, my in-laws. Just blessed to have a great family to support me through those days. And then finally, my friends from my neighborhood, my church, my co-workers, just so many great people to support me. And let me just challenge you as you decide how you're going to spend your coin each and every day. I challenge you to make relationships a priority, because if you're going through a difficult time in life, and a lot of people still are, it's your relationships. That's what gets you through the difficult times. And even if you're not going through a difficult time, if you're here and everything's good in your world, and I hope it is, hey, here's what I've learned on the good days and the not so good days. It's my relationships, my relationship with the Lord, with others. That's what gives my life meaning and purpose, And never forget this little piece of mascot wisdom. It's the banana that gets separated from the bunch. That's the first one that gets eaten. That's deep, isn't it? Yeah. Don't think too hard about that right now, okay? That just means life's a team sport. We need each other. Hey, let me share with you the last lesson I learned and I learned this in January of 2014. This is a couple months after my bungee jump. I'm on my way to another physical therapist appointment. I called him my physical terrorist. If you've been there, you know why. But on my way to another appointment, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I don't know if you've ever lived with pain. I still live with pain as a result of my accident. It's no fun. You don't get a vacation from it, okay? It'll wear you out physically, emotionally. A lot of days are discouraging. Once in a while, you get days that are flat out depressing. And this is one of those days. I'm driving to another appointment, having a pity party. And by the way, those things never work, so you can save your time, okay? And I'm listening to the radio station. This radio personality comes on and he says this: every morning you wake up, everybody's got something to complain about. Everybody's got something to be thankful for. He said, whichever one you choose to focus on, it's going to determine your attitude for the day. And I still remember sitting in my car and I'm like, I think I might have learned a valuable lesson right there. I learned that, I guess I could sit and complain that I had 7 broken ribs, or I could choose to be thankful I had 17 good ones that weren't broken yet, right? It can always be worse, I realized I could complain about my collapsed left lung that wasn't back to normal. I wasn't sure what was going on because I couldn't see it, but something wasn't right. Or I could be thankful God gave me 2 lungs. The other one worked just fine. Okay, I realized I could complain about all the new scars on my body, or I can be thankful if I keep my pants and shirt on like I'm supposed to, nobody gets to see those scars, right? Not like I'm a Chippendale, I'm a mascot, right? I wouldn't have made the Chippendale Hall of Fame. And by the way, that picture I showed you earlier, That was photoshopped, okay? I really don't look like that with my shirt off, okay? Guys, that day I wanted to complain that once again I woke up, I had all this pain again, my back, my tailbone, my ribs. But for the first time since my bungee jump, I actually stopped that day. And I told God thanks for my pain. And by the way, that is hard to do, okay? I think I'm pretty good about saying thank you for my many blessings. Saying thank you for pain is hard. But I did. I thanked him because I realized if I couldn't feel pain, I'd be dead or I'd be paralyzed. And then I thought about that, death, paralysis, pain. Guess what? I got the best one out of the three, you know? Mother Teresa once said this. She said, it's okay to have pain in your life. It's not okay to be one. I love that quote. Guys, that quote reminds me every day, it's okay if I've still got a pain in my rear. It's not okay for me to be a pain in your rear, right? I bet you got a few pains in your ear in life. Don't look at each other right now. You know, I tell people I feel best when I'm active. So you come to a Chiefs game next season, you see the Wolf running around doing his thing on the field. I feel a lot better than if I sit around, because if I sit around, everything tightens up, everything hurts again. Now, here's the bad thing about sleep. It's not a lot of activity. It's lying flat on your back for 7 or 8 hours. So, I mean, every morning I wake up with this pain again before I get up and do my little stretching routine that helps out a little bit. You know, most people wake up, drink a cup of coffee. Not me. I wake up and roll around on the floor trying to get my back to loosen up. But every morning I get out of bed, I realize I get to make a choice. And by the way, you get to make the same choice. But when my alarm goes off, I realize I can choose to rise and shine, or I can choose to rise and whine. And you know what? I don't want to be a whiner. Whiners don't make a positive impact in this world. You know, whiners don't have a positive influence in the lives of others. And what's a good book tell us? Matthew 5:16, I think. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good deeds. Praise your Father who is in heaven. That's what I want my life to be about right there. You know, guys, you know what? I'll kind of wrap up with this. And I know you're thinking, thank goodness, finally, he's going to quit talking. But, you know, you guys know we won a Super Bowl last year. We won a Super Bowl this year. Can I be real honest? That year, between those two Super Bowls, it really hasn't been one of my favorite years, okay? My wife was recently diagnosed with some health issues, okay? And this past year, there's been many days I woke up feeling helpless to do anything about it, okay? I said helpless, I didn't say hopeless, because listen, you got faith, you got hope. We got hope, okay? I said helpless. I couldn't fix this problem, okay? I could pray for her, I could encourage her, support her, love on her, but couldn't fix this one. And you know, there's a lot of days this past year, I'd wake up with this heavy feeling, and on my way past my dresser every morning, I always pictured I had 2 bags that sat on that dresser. I had a bag of burdens, I had my bag of blessings. Every day I got to choose which bag I was going to pick up. You know what I learned this past year? And I'm still learning this because we're still dealing with this. But you know what I've discovered? When I'm intentional, when I pick up that bag of blessings, that decision, it affects all the other decisions I make throughout my day. You know, tonight, you've heard me talk to you about how your life's like a coin. You can spend it any way you wish, but you're only spending it once, so spend wisely. Reminds me of one other thing that my mom and dad taught me as a kid growing up. They always said your life's a lot like your finances. You can do one of two things with money. You can spend it or you can invest it. Money you spend, you're never going to see it again. Money you invest, that's wise. That'll eventually multiply and return to you. When you think about it, we're going to do the same thing with our lives. You're either going to spend it or you're going to invest it. A life spent selfishly, that's wasted. A life that's invested in helping others, encouraging others, serving others, just like you do at the co-op. I know I'm sitting here preaching to the choir right now, but you know what? That kind of a life is going to bear fruit for a long time. And so my challenge to you tonight is take your coin and be an investor, not only with your money, more importantly, with your life. Take your coin and invest it by living every day you get. Live it with character, live it with purpose, live it with passion. Take your coin and invest it by making relationships a priority. Finally, take your coin and invest it. Learn to live like a shiner, not like a whiner, because I believe we put those into practice. Our homes, our workplaces, our communities, this world's going to be a better place for all of us to live. So, hey, the last lesson I'd learned after I got hurt, you know this too, now that we've been through COVID, is that there's nothing good on daytime television. Did you know that? I was losing my mind. I'm used to being an active guy. I go to my physical therapy appointment. I come back home. I spent a week searching, trying to find anything on TV worth watching. And I mean, there's nothing. So what do you do if you're off work for 6 months and you don't have anything to do? I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a book. So I did. I wrote this book called Wolves Can't Fly, since I proved that wolves can't fly. Book's all about my career as a tiger, a bird, a wolf, places I've been all over the world, people I've met, crazy mascot stories. I could stand here all night and tell you crazy mascot stories. I've walked 5 women down the aisle on their wedding day dressed in a costume. Okay, I've been best man in about 10 or 11 weddings, and I didn't even know who the groom was. I was his best man. I stood in a wolf suit wearing a tuxedo, holding a ring in my paw. Last year, I got to check a new one off the list. I got to be a flower girl. Got drop petals coming down the aisle. Yeah, if you got the money, I got the time, I tell folks, right? So and then it tells the story about what happened to me November 23rd, 2013, all the lessons I've learned since that time. A lot of the quotes are in this book. But I tell folks the reason I promote the book, whenever I go speak at banquets or conferences around the country, I do not make a dime off this book. All the money we make off book sales, we give it away to charity. We do a lot of work with food banks, homeless shelters, orphanages. And I'm going to close. I'm going to show you a couple quick pictures of places. The most rewarding part of my job are the places we get to help support with these book funds. This right here is an orphanage in Haiti. It's one of the greatest trips I ever took. It was right after the doctor said, you're strong enough, you're healthy enough, you can wear a costume. Took a trip to Haiti to work at this orphanage. Learned another great lesson. You know, when I was doing all the therapy and rehab, I spent most of my time at home. Spend all your time at home, you start to live in a small world. You live in a small world, all your problems seem huge. You go to a place like Haiti, work in an orphanage where they don't have hot water, don't have air conditioning, you sleep under a mosquito net on a really uncomfortable bed. All of a sudden your world starts to get big. You live in a big world, got to put your own problems in perspective in a hurry. But that's one place we support. This is a village in the Philippines. A lot of their kids were getting sick because they didn't have clean drinking water. So we went over there and helped them build a well in that community just so they could have clean water in that village. And then closer to home, you may do this around here too, called Shop with a Cop. That's my cop outfit, by the way. But we donate money so underprivileged students can buy Christmas gifts for their families at Christmas time. And then this next one, okay, this is I spoke there a couple months ago at their chapel. It's the Kansas City Rescue Mission. It's the homeless shelter in downtown Kansas City. Every year they do a thing called the Toilet Paper Challenge where they collect toilet paper for the mission because, of course, they go through a lot of toilet paper. So I'd sold a bunch of books, so I was just going to buy a bunch of toilet paper to donate. So I did that, but I thought I should team up with a school too. So I went to a school that's close to my house. I talked to the principal. I said, let's do this. Have all the kids bring toilet paper. Whichever class brings in the most, I'll buy pizza and we'll have a pizza party for the class. Well, I don't know if you knew this, but kids like pizza. Okay, like it a whole lot at that school. They went nuts. It took us 3 weeks from what I purchased from book sales, what the kids brought in. We ended up with over 16,500 rolls of toilet paper to donate. So, oh yeah, COVID didn't start that shortage, okay? We did that, didn't it? And you see that truck, it took 2 trucks to get all the toilet paper down there to the mission after that. And so, and then a couple more quick ones. This is a leper colony in India. We were in India, so we spent one day, believe it or not, leper colonies still exist. So we were there, spent one day loving on those people, just trying to be a blessing in their lives. The reason we're in India is we help support several orphanages there too. They call them Hope Homes in India. Also got to have fun in India. Got to ride a camel in a wolf suit. But you don't get to do that in Tipton very often, do you? And had so much fun on the camel. I rode the elephant, too, while I was there. I was on the same day. One heck of a day. And then my most recent trip, got to take a trip to Africa with Convoy of Hope, great ministry out of Springfield, Missouri. That's a school in Africa. They're starting a feeding program that we're blessed to get to be a part of. My favorite thing about that trip, the students in the picture had never seen white people. And if they'd never seen a white guy, I promise they'd never seen anything that looked like the wolf come walk through the village. So that was a fascinating trip. And then 2 more quick ones. This is a girls' orphanage in the Dominican Republic we help support. And my favorite picture from the trip is this one. As a matter of fact, I like that picture so much, I wrote another book, called it Mascot on a Mission, Living a Life of Influence. I use that picture as a cover shot. So I'll close with this. I know I've said that 4 times now, but I mean it this time, okay? But can I be honest with you? I don't like writing books, okay? I really don't. I'm a mascot. There's a lot of energy in this body. Sitting behind a computer writing a book is not really my idea of a good time, okay? Don't enjoy it that much. Can I tell you what I do enjoy? I do enjoy giving money to people and organizations that are making a positive impact in this world, especially if that is in the lives of young people or people less fortunate. You know, I have folks ask me this all the time. Why does a 57-year-old guy still wear a costume for a living? I'm sure my father-in-law thinks that every day, okay? Why do 57-year-old guys still wear a costume? You want to know the answer to that? Is that picture right there, okay? Says it all. I want my life to make an impact, okay? I want the world to be a little bit better place just because I was here for a short time. I want every person I meet, and listen, I mean every person, to walk away after an encounter with me. I want them to know they're loved. I want them to know they're special. I want them to know that there is somebody in the world that really does still care, okay? And there's no exceptions to it. So I don't care if they're young or old. I don't care if they're black or white. I don't care what their abilities or disabilities might be. I don't care if they're going to vote for Biden or Trump. I don't even care if they speak my language, okay? I want them to know somebody cares. You know, I meet a lot of people in my job. I meet a whole lot of people, and I know you meet some of these same folks, that they go through life and it's almost like their buckets are empty. You know what I'm talking about. They seem discouraged. They seem depressed. I wonder, does my life matter? Does anybody out there really care? And you know what I think that is too often in life, we go through life and we're passionate about things that don't really matter. And then we're passive about those things in this life that really should matter. You want to be a difference maker? You want to make an impact in your home, your school, your community, this world? Here's my challenge to you tonight. Learn to live life for the things that matter, because it's a rewarding way to live life. I love football. That Super Bowl is cool. Hope to do it a couple more times because I've still got rings or fingers I could put rings on, okay? But that's not the reason I do the job. The reason I keep doing this job is every day I get the opportunity to hopefully make this world a little bit brighter place for others just by the way I choose to live life, just by the way I choose to invest my coin. So that's my challenge to you. Take your coin. You don't have to be a professional mascot to do it, okay? You don't have to travel to the other side of the world to do it. You can do it right where you're at in your community. Like my grandma used to say, just go bloom where you're planted, right? And I don't care if you're the CEO of the company or custodian. I don't care if you're the head coach of your team or just a team mascot. Each one of us every day has that opportunity to make this world a brighter place for others just by the way we choose to live life, just by the way we choose to invest our coin. So take your coin, go out and be a blessing to others. So, hey, you know one reason I love speaking to y'all? You're a lot better behaved than the Chiefs fans I work with at Arrowhead Stadium. Okay, I notice you drink something different than they drink at the tailgates at Arrowhead. Thank you, whoever chose the drink menu tonight. And so, hey, if anybody is interested in books tonight, we got books over there at that table where the big head's sitting. And books are $12 each if anybody wants a book. We've also got these pictures of K.C. Wolf. Those are free. That means they don't cost money. You have no excuse not to take one of those to your kids today, okay? And you also keep seeing me pull this coin out of my pocket. We got these things made a few years back. On one side of the coin, it's got a picture of K.C. Wolf. It says, "Life's like a coin, spend it wisely." On the back of the coin, it just says, "Rise and shine." But books are $12 and coins are $3. And we got a special for tonight. You can get a book and a coin for $15, okay? But that's just for you folks here with you, just for being such great listeners. Plus, I want you to know I had a lady call me the other day, told me it's the best 2 books she's ever read. That was my mom, okay? Only person that's told me that at this point. Not going to promise you these are the best books you're ever going to read. Here's what I do promise you. They got pictures in the middle because some of you don't like to read anyway. And I also promise you all the money we make off this, we're just giving it away to others anyway. So, again, thank you for letting me come out and share with you. I'm sure I went over my 30 minutes, but I could have told you I was going to do that before I ever stood up to talk. So, but hope you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and thanks again for letting me share. Thank you, sir.
Now, if we could get the Como Cares Board to come join Mr. Mears down in front of that. If you'll step down to there's so many of them they won't fit on the stage. So all right. So our Como Cares Board is coming down to join Mr. Mears for a very special presentation. The Como Cares Board oversees the Operation Roundup program. I hope everyone has had the opportunity to stop by their booth, the Operation Roundup booth. I see a lot of little pink pigs out there. Please don't chuck them at me. So they do amazing things in our community. And tonight they are donating to the Exceptionally Worthy Character That Counts organization, which is supported by Mr. Mears. We were glad to have him here, and we're glad to support all the good charitable work he does in our communities as well as those abroad. So if I get a round of applause over there. And with that, I would like to ask our board of directors to come up to the stage, please, if you would. Thank you, Como Cares Board. We appreciate all you do. And the very energetic and enthusiastic Mr. Mears, I might add. One more time. Y'all might be surprised to learn that that's not an actual check. So we've tried that, but it never fits in the little tube they have at the bank. So, all right. I would now ask our board to join me on stage as they have, and I would ask Mr. Rick Everhart to join us at the podium, or join me at the podium to do the determination of quorum and the meeting minutes. Mr. Everhart.
Good evening. Based on the total number of registrations we've received via mail, online, and here tonight, we have reached our quorum as required by our bylaws. The number of registrations reflect the fact that the official meeting notice and a copy of the 2023 annual meeting minutes were mailed in the May 2024 rural Missouri to the members. To dispense with roll call and reading of the minutes, I will now accept a motion to recognize the presence of a quorum, mailing of the official notice of this meeting, and approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion? A motion. I have a second? I have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Nay, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you.
As president of the board of directors of Como, it's my honor today to introduce to you the current board of directors. I'm Gene Eulinger. I am representing District 3 from California. Rodney Shadd, District 3, Versailles. Craig Alley, District 3, California. Rick Everhart Sr., Secretary Treasurer, District 1, Stover. Bill Betteridge, District 1, Pilot Grove. Bruce Wolf, District 1, Pilot Grove. Rick Purden, District 2, Gravois Mills. Jason Martin, District 2, Tipton. And Gary Harris, Vice President, District 2, Boonville. As members of your board of directors, it is our job to conduct the business of the cooperative and to make business decisions. Thank you to each of my fellow board members for your dedicated efforts ensuring that our co-op remains strong for many years to come. Before I welcome Susan Hodges to the podium to present the report of the nominating committee for the 2024 election of directors, I would like to recognize the members of the nominating committee. As your name is read, would you please stand? Terry Blake, Jeff Dalby, Elsie Drury, Susan Hodges, Philip Kaza, Mike Kenigsman, Vicki McCarroll, Gary Nauman, Bob Rolls, Cheryl Wood, and Will Wright. Please join me in giving this group a round of applause for finding our cooperative another year of outstanding candidates. I would now like to call upon Susan Hodges for the nominating committee report.
To the Board of Directors, Como Electric Cooperative Incorporated, Tipton, Missouri, 65081. We, the undersigned members of the nominating committee, appointed by the Board of Directors of Como Electric Cooperative Incorporated on March 8, 2024, in compliance with the Section 5 of Article 4 of the bylaws to make and submit nominations for directors to be elected May 23, 2024. Do hereby report that we have selected as nominees for the directors the following persons shown by district in alphabetical order. District 1, Catherine Lynn Page, 1523 Foxtrot Road, Smithton, Missouri, 65350. Warren Bruce Wolf, 6032 Woolery Drive, Pilot Grove, Missouri, 65276. District 2, Gary Lee Harris, 13267 B Highway, Boonville, Missouri, 65233. James Henry Teese, 16542 Casey Court, Boonville, Missouri, 65233. District number 3, Byron John Haldeman, 24744 Bacon Bridge Road, Jamestown, Missouri, 65046. Rodney Blaine Shad, 15533 Highway E, Versailles, Missouri, 65084. Article 4, Section 5 of the Cooperative Bylaws indicates any 50 or more members acting together may make nominations by petition if received at least 45 days before the annual meeting of the membership and shall be included on the official ballot dated at Tipton, Missouri, this 8th day of March 2024. Signed, members of the nominating committee: Susan Hodges, chairperson; Terry Blyke, Jeff Dalby, Elsie Drury, Philip Kaza, Michael Kingsman, Vicki McCrell, Gary Nauman, Robert Rolls, Cheryl Wood, Will Wright. This being all members present of the nominating committee, posted 9 a.m. March 11th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you, committee. Now I'd like to bring our cooperative's attorney, Doug Obley, up to the podium to handle the election of directors.
Thank you, Gene. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to conduct your election of directors this evening. The election process has been offered, Como Connect members has offered Como Connect members the opportunity to vote either online, by mail-in ballot, and in person here tonight. Voting opened on April 29th and will conclude this evening at the end of the business meeting. By way of a brief review, which we're required to announce at the annual meeting, the bylaws require each year one director is to be elected in each of the 3 voting districts. These districts have been established using computer data so that it's ensured that each district contains as nearly as possible an equal number of voting members. I want to remind you tonight that regardless of which voting district you live in, you are entitled to vote for one director in each of the 3 different voting districts. I will be introducing the candidates to you, and each will be given an opportunity to share brief remarks with you about his or her candidacy this evening. Because they've had previous pre-recorded statements available online to the membership. We're going to ask that the statements tonight be limited to no more than 1 minute. At this time, I would ask any of the candidates who are not on stage to please come forward, and we will introduce you by district. Just have a seat if you will. We'll start with District Number 1. The first candidate to be introduced from District Number 1 is Catherine Lynn Page.
Thank you. Thank you for all of you being here tonight and your voting. My husband Ken and I have been members, owners of the co-op for 50 years now, and I worked for 24 years at Central Missouri Electric and Sedalia in almost every department. And I feel like I have experience between being a member owner for 50 years and working at the co-op for that long in knowing how a co-op should be run and what entails a co-op. So thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you for voting.
The second candidate from District Number 1 is Warren Bruce Wolf.
Hi, I'm Bruce Wolf, and no, I'm not related to Casey Wolf. Although one thing we do have in common, we both got the opportunity to marry a fox, and mine is with me. My wife Harriet is here tonight, and she's always supporting me. I've had the privilege to be your director for Como for the last 2 terms, 6 years, and I appreciate your past support and look forward to you supporting me for the future. Thank you.
Moving to District Number 2, the first candidate from District Number 2 is Gary Lee Harris.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Como's 85th annual meeting. My name is Gary Harris, and I currently serve as Vice President of your board. I grew up near Prairie Home. I worked my way through college at CMSU in Warrensburg, where I graduated with honors. My wife Janet and I own a farm south of Boonville, and I've held several management positions in my career. I was city administrator and city engineer for the city of Boonville for several years. I served on the Mid-Missouri Regional Planning Commission for several years. I worked for an agricultural co-op, first as a district manager, then as an auditor and fraud investigator. I also was one of the promoters and actively supported the Como Fiber project. Ladies and gentlemen, you own a large business and a very complex business. I take my service on the board very seriously. And ever since I've been on the board, I've tried to be an advocate for you, the members. I would very much appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.
The second candidate from District Number 2 is James Henry Teese.
Good evening. James Henry is not a name. I go by Jim most of the time. I opted to have my name submitted to the board as a candidate because it kind of relates to what we just heard earlier. You try to commit your life to a life of service to your community, to the people around you, and to what's happening and affects you. I think I have a new set of eyes to kind of look at what's going on. And I think I've got some experiences as a graduate of University of Missouri, bachelor's, master's, and ed specialist degree. It's 33 years in the classroom, many, many years on local, state, and state committees in other areas and boards. And my strongest asset I have here tonight with me is my wife, who has supported me for 47 years in anything and everything I wanted to do. So I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here tonight, and I hope to see you again.
Moving now to District Number 3, the first candidate is Byron John Haldeman.
Good evening. My name is Byron Haldeman. I live on a family farm outside of Jamestown with my wife, Kendra, and daughter, Marie. My dad was a board member for, I think, about 30 years, so I've been around the business a little bit, but I'm sure I have lots to learn. But when the nominating committee asked if I would like to run, I figured I'd step up and take the call. So I appreciate your consideration for the position. Thank you.
And the second candidate from District Number 3 is Rodney Blaine Shad.
Only 1 minute. That's all they're allowing me. Can you believe that? I'm an ex-politician. It's good to see this crowd out here tonight. You all are the ones that make this board possible through your voting. My name's Rodney Shad. My wife Jenny out there is the luckiest woman in the face of the earth. She's been with me for 50 years, and 51 years. I was wrong. She's corrected me. We've been Como members for 50 years, ever since we were married, and I lived on the Como system for the 20 years before that as a kid out east of Versailles. We have a home and a farm out there, and I've been on the board now for 15 years. I really enjoy working for you, and I know the voting's over, but I am grateful to you for your support. Thank you.
Would you please join me in thanking all of the 2024 board candidates by giving them a round of applause. If there are any of you who have not yet voted, would you please make your way to the voting pad? I think over here where the garage door is, and cast your vote at this time. Voting will be remaining open for the next several minutes, approximately 15 or 20 minutes, so please do that at this time. After that, voting for the 2024 election will be closed so that the votes can be counted and the results can be announced before the end of the meeting. Are there any questions? Thank you very much for your attention.
At this time, we would like to recognize Mr. Doug Obley for his many years of service here at Como. First, I want to present Doug with a resolution from our Como Board of Directors. So Doug, if you'll come forward. First off, I think it's rather unusual. We're celebrating our 85th meeting tonight. Doug and his company have been the only lawyers that we've ever had representing Como Connect. And I think we need to give him a big round of applause. I'm not going to read the entire resolution to you, but whereas Doug Obley of Como Electric Cooperative Incorporated, Tipton, Missouri, serves as General Counsel of the Como Electric Cooperative Incorporated and ComoCom Incorporated from 1975 to his retirement on August 1st, 2024, and whereas Doug has made many significant contributions for the betterment of the membership and subscribers over the years, providing exceptional legal counsel and representation of the cooperative and fiber subsidiary, and has played an integral part in successes we have witnessed with excellence in his attendance to detail and comprehensive understanding and knowledge of legal policy and regulatory compliance, land use, environmental issues, and contract negotiations. And it goes on and on. Doug has just been a very stable force for our board. We call on him at each board meeting. And Doug, it's just a real pleasure to present this to you. If you'd like to respond.
I'd like to thank the board, of course, for this honor. It's been a pleasure for me to have worked for Como for as many years as I have. In case any of you don't already know it, it's a wonderful organization. It provides tremendous service. And I can't imagine a better place to have worked and to have had the opportunity to work. So thank you for your kindness, and thank you for your recognition.
We have a couple more things we're going to do to honor you tonight, Doug. Again, I remember it well when you started. I was like 2. We had this made for you in honor of your years of service. It's an insulator, and obviously poles. A lineman crafted it for you. Thank you for all you've done, and don't run off yet. We have one more special guest. Is Mr. Taylor here? There he is. Mr. Taylor, would you join us up here? I'm going to set this at your place, Doug.
Well, I would like to thank the invitation to come here to represent somebody who's been instrumental not only to this organization, but to my home county of Cooper, my hometown of Boonville. His family has done so much for our community. I found that with this honored position that I have, the most honored thing I get to do is to recognize people who do so much for the community. And this is my opportunity to do that. I have a resolution here signed by myself, Representative Tim Taylor, Representative Roger Reedy from the 57th, Representative Willard Haley from the 58th, Representative Rudy Veet from the 59th, Dr. Lisa Thomas, who represents the 123rd District, and Representative Jim Caberlow, who represents District 126. Gives you an indication or an example of how far spread Como Electric, the co-op, spans. And that you were so instrumental in all these years. I didn't know that it had been that many years that you have been involved with this. So I too won't read this in its entirety, but representing Cooper County as prosecutor for almost 36 years is just that alone is monumental. So Doug, I'd like to present this to you on behalf of the House of Representatives and those representatives who were listed here. And thank you and your family for all you've done and what you continue to do for our communities around this district. Thank you.
Mr. Jean is going to introduce Rick here in a moment, but I wanted you all to know Doug is one of the kinder human beings I've ever met. He's a good guy. He's done amazing things for this community. And he had no idea we were going to do this to him today. In fact, I'm not sure if he would have shown up otherwise. So, but no, thank you for all you've done, Doug. I appreciate you. Mr. Jean.
Congratulations again, Doug. Now I would like to call upon Rick Everhart to present the Treasurer's report.
Thank you, Gene. Yeah, it's been a real blessing to get to know Doug over the last 10 years, and we're surely going to miss him. As your treasurer, it's a pleasure to inform you of your cooperative's financial condition. A balance sheet and statement of operations for the year ending December 31st, 2023 were included in the May 2024 issue of Rural Missouri that was recently mailed to you. During 2023, our plant assets grew over $24 million to $298.5 million. Member equity grew by more than $9 million to more than $105.7 million in total equity. Last year, $3 million were returned to you, the members, in retirement of capital credits, and that concludes my report. God bless each of you, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming CEO of Como Connect, Aaron Bradshaw, back to the podium for his report to the members. Aaron?
Thanks, Gene. Before I get started, for any of you that have not voted, voting is going to remain open for probably another couple of minutes. And then when I wrap up, so it's me talking, so it could be 30, 40 minutes. No, I'm teasing. I'm not going to do that to you. Doug will get up, and we should have the voting results available. So, all right. First and foremost, thank you, Gene, for the introduction. And as always, thank you to the board, and thank you to you. It's great to see all of you here tonight. It's our 85th annual meeting. We thought that was pretty special. It's one of the reasons we brought Dan out, or Dan Mears out. I think he's a very inspirational speaker. And, of course, it never hurts that he's tied to the KC Chiefs, who are having a spectacular run. So before we go any further, I'd honestly like to thank the amazing Como team. A quick round of applause for them, please. I am truly blessed to work with them. They're amazing. You know, we have a couple of folks here, and I make them nuts because I never stick to the script. But we have a couple of folks here who have announced retirement, linemen that have been with us a long time. Jim Kirchhoff and Danny Wood. Many of you probably know them. I just about tackle them to stop them from leaving. That's how good they are. The only reason that I feel really comfortable with the fact that, one, that they've earned it and they're going to have a spectacular retirement is that they've educated so many of the other linemen along the way. We have a really good group of people. So I say all that. The folks here are amazing, and not only do they work hard for you every day, but they also help put together the food, the tables, everything that your kids got to play with today. It's great. It's an amazing organization. Again, I'm blessed to work with these people every day, and I'm truly grateful. So last year, let me jump into it here. Last year during my report, I took a moment to talk about a great lesson I learned from one of my favorite teachers, Mr. Wellman. That lesson was that perfection is unobtainable, but striving for perfection will make you great. And so I sat down to write about what I was going to talk about this year, to come up with a theme, a message that I wanted to convey, and hoping to showcase some of the amazing things that this Como team that works for you has done throughout the year. We've achieved a lot of great things and since the 84th annual meeting. And when I was thinking about Dan Mears showing up, joining us this year, I thought, there's got to be various football-related analogies, and how some of the amazing efforts of our team would relate to the amazing efforts of the Kansas City Chiefs as they're basically climbing their way into what amounts to a football dynasty. So I thought about this, and I paused a moment to think about the Vince Lombardi Trophy and all of the effort, all the hard work and determination that it takes to hoist that above your head on the field. And I thought about how hard our team works. And reflecting on that, I kind of came full circle to the same message I had last year, because I don't know if Mr. Wellman was, a big football fan and never mentioned it, but I got to thinking about Vince Lombardi quotes, and his quote was strikingly similar. So I don't know if he cribbed the notes of Vince Lombardi, but Vince Lombardi always said, perfection is not obtainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. And in 2023 and 2024, our team faced adversity. And yet we continue to chase perfection. And I am proud to say that in many respects, we did indeed achieve excellence. So as a place to work, we have known for 85 years that Como is an organization that draws exceptionally talented people. In 2023, we implemented, and I mentioned this last year, I believe, 2 independent surveys among Como employees to discover areas of our organization that we were doing very well in, and areas that we could, improve to continue to work towards that excellence. We always want to have a commitment to a positive workforce culture. Last year, I was proud to announce that Como Connect was able to achieve certification and was recognized as a great place to work. Being certified as a great place to work is no easy feat. It takes a collective effort to foster an environment where everyone feels valued, respected, and where they're empowered to do their best work. We take pride at this organization in knowing that we recognize how exceptional it is to have a workplace culture that reflects a collaborative spirit and the team efforts of everyone. I am proud to once again announce that Como achieved for the second year in a row, also the only second year that we've actually surveyed and gone through the process and jumped through all the hoops. We are once again considered and certified as a great place to work. The people that work here are amazing. It's a remarkable achievement. It's only the outstanding accomplishment of everybody working together that makes your cooperative successful. And I'm here to tell you, the folks that work hard for you every day do just that. They work very hard. It's a great place to work, and I'm honored by the people that you see standing around you in the dark blue shirts. I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so let's talk a little bit. Como Connect has grown to serve more than 33,000 broadband subscribers and has won Missouri's Best Fiber Company Award for 4 years in a row. That's 4 years in a row where, competing against everybody else in the state, we're at the top. That's your company that is doing that. In 2023, Como also took home the award for the best place to work from Missouri's Best Awards, which I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with. We are also extremely proud. Mr. Mears mentioned working overseas, and that dedication to community and helping others stretches to all the people that work here. They're not just working for you every day. They also go home. They help teach in the schools. They help coach Little League teams. They support charitable organizations. They do all of that. But one that I wanted to call out specifically, we're extremely proud of area lineman Tim Thanen, who will bring, or at least help bring, electricity to a remote Guatemalan village this summer. So Tim is one of 8 volunteer linemen who will travel to Vicalvitz, and I'm probably butchering that, Guatemala. He can probably school me when he gets back, would be my guess, where he will build power lines connecting that village to a small hydroelectric project which will provide the community with electricity literally for the first time ever. They will see the lights come on in that village like we saw them come on here 85 years ago. Tim, that's an amazing thing, and I'm proud of you. So. At Como Connect, our mission is to improve the quality of life for the region we serve. And each and every member of this team takes that commitment to heart and showcases an outstanding dedication to serving our members, subscribers, and communities each and every day. The team you have working for you is absolutely top tier, and I could go on at length about all the accolades that they've collectively gathered over the past 12 months, and it's a lot. But one, we're short on time, and two, I would like to pivot just a bit and talk about, honestly, some of the challenges that this team has faced, your organization has faced over the past year. So, to talk about adversity, I'm sure you're all aware every time you go to the gas pump that costs are up. So, we, in a sense, are doing the same thing. Escalated costs for wholesale power, major supply chain issues, and to give you an idea, transformers that were once available in a matter of weeks are now months to a year. We ordered a new bucket truck for somebody the other day, and its expected arrival is 2029. We're doing what we can to mitigate, but it is a struggle out there. And as a result, we've had to implement changes and make decisions that were not made lightly, but that will ultimately assure the long-term viability and success of the cooperative that you collectively own. Now, some of those decisions include the rate increase that happened back in January. And I should say, before I move on, I'm sure you hated it, because I know I opened my bill, and I also was not super thrilled. But I'll tell you, as much as you may have disliked it, the people that are sitting behind me, they hated it worse, because I watched them struggle. I watched them hire consultants to make sure that it was necessary. I felt their pressure in the boardroom to make sure we were cutting where we could. They would not have made a choice to do that if there was any other way. When I say that the people that are working for you on your board care for you, they do. They look at that. So we've been dealing with escalated costs, primarily, wholesale costs. Our number one cost is wholesale power. And that escalated in a way that was untenable without generating additional revenue. So other stuff that we've been dealing with, right-of-way, making sure that we're maintaining that. Como's exit from TV services in 2025, we announced that. That was a hard one. Of note, the board is actually asking you all to vote on a change that they recommended. So one of those changes you voted on today, and that's the ability to apply capital credits to line extensions. And our hope is that that will help ease some of the cost. As costs have gone up for building new line, it's caused an escalation when somebody requests a new service. This was one of the ways the board was hoping to offset some of that potential expense. We've tried to make the best decisions we can to assure the reliability of your service and the financial stability of your co-op in what amounts to a dramatically inflationary environment. Now, before we go further, the one question I can answer for you now is there are no planned additional rate increases in 2024. So if you want to clap, that's fine. No, I'm teasing. I meant what I said. It is never fun, but it's also imperative that we remain strong so that we keep serving you well. So we've heard from some of you over in the booths over there on some of the very topics I just mentioned earlier tonight, the information booths. I do want you to know we hear you, and we are doing our absolute best to communicate why we make the decisions that we do, the changes that we do, how they will impact you. We try and communicate that through the Rural Missouri Magazine, our website, email, social media, over the phone. We are listening to you, I promise. And as Como continues to chase perfection, we also know that the only way that we can achieve excellence is through listening to the feedback of our members and our subscribers, and to offer more convenient outlets for you all to engage with us, rather than the more traditional one-way communication where we just share it and there's no real good back and forth. We kept that in mind and we wanted to start something new. So this summer, we're implementing a new program called Connect with Como. Now, Connect with Como will be a series of face-to-face meetings, topic-based learning and discussion sessions where members and subscribers can sign up to participate. And starting off, we'll have topics that'll include things like rate structure and demand, right-of-way, maintenance, maintaining of vegetation, cybersecurity education. There's a lot of scammers out there, and we know we also provide internet, and we want to make sure that you all are protected as best we can. Streaming for beginners. So for some of you that have just jumped into the streaming marketplace and want to try out Netflix or something like that, we're going to help you with that. And we'll be doing demos of the DirecTV product. It's not that we're in love with DirecTV, it's that it was the closest product that we could find to what we were offering as we were exiting the business. Now, we'll hold these get-togethers both in Tipton and at the Lake offices, and we'll offer them both during the week, we'll probably do it over lunch, and on weekends to make sure that anybody that wants to can come talk to us and provide us feedback. We want to hear from you. And we want you to have the opportunity to talk with us, get information, and give us your thoughts. So through these Connect with Como sessions, we hope to create a new and personal avenue for members and subscribers to voice their thoughts, their ideas, their concerns with us. More information will be sent out very soon. So keep an eye on rural Missouri. Actually, all the stuff I just previously mentioned, the website, social media, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll be getting information out on that shortly. I hope that some of you will come join us. Not only because we want to talk with you all about what we're doing and why, but also because we want your input. We only get better by going through why we're doing what we're doing and making sure that we're making the best decisions. Now, I would like to provide an update on a few areas really quickly on the cooperative's performance over the last year. So let's cover safety, reliability, and customer service. So safety, I mention it every year, it's a core value. Our employees live by that every day. At Como, we prioritize a safety mindset and are dedicated to assuring our employees go home safe to their families at the end of every day. We hold monthly safety meetings for our team to make sure that they are using the most up-to-date and effective work practices. Last year, our team was committed to addressing, as a safety goal, all of the identified various items for improvement identified by audits that were conducted by partner organizations. So a couple of them are insurance companies. One of them is a safety group that we do, that we're a part of. So Federated, MESIP, and ASAP, and RESAP, they all came in last year. We asked them to do audits. And I'm proud to say that in 2023, we addressed 100% of the suggested areas of improvement, whether they were small or large. We are dedicated to making sure that our folks work safe. As members of this cooperative, system reliability is also, of course, critically important to you. And each year we try to live up to your expectations. In 2023, our electric distribution system was on 99.97% of the time. This remarkable achievement is the result of our robust maintenance programs, which involve investing in replacement of aging infrastructure. So that's swapping out old copper for modern aluminum. Vegetation, making sure that when we have windstorms, which we sure seem to have had a few lately, it doesn't blow trees onto the lines and end up with you in the dark. We've also made significant improvements to the technology that we utilize to operate our system. Helps us identify where there's problems, hopefully before there's outages, identify where our outages are so we can roll crews quickly, and oftentimes limit how big that outage is. We make those investments to assure that when you flip the light switch, the lights come on. And our numbers show that our efforts are paying off. Of course, the other part of that story is that when the lights do go off, you have an incredible group of folks that even in the middle of the night, when it's dark out and rain is pelting against their window, they put their boots on, they go get in a truck, and they drive to where the problem is and make sure that when you wake up in the morning, the lights come on and you have the electricity to brew that first cup of coffee. Those folks are amazing. And I also want to thank the linemen. I want to thank the linemen, but I also want to thank their spouses. The linemen's hard work and dedication is an amazing thing, but the support and understanding of their spouses is also worth honoring. So for all of you spouses of line workers who wake up next to an empty pillow because your spouse is out taking care of the community, know that we're grateful. And I'd like a quick round of applause for them. Now, many of you are familiar with the O.B. Clark Award that we'll be discussing here in a minute, and that honor is bestowed on those that demonstrate the cooperative spirit and do something outstanding to help a member of the community. Now, I love what that award represents, but it only scratches the surface. Every week, and I mean every week, I receive comments, emails, I get stopped in the store, and sometimes I even get handwritten letters, which is pretty much a dying art, telling me how helpful, kind, understanding, and patient the members of our team are when they're working with somebody that calls in and asks for their help or to fix a problem or to install something, whatever it may be. Every week. We honor that dedication to service. We're proud of that at this company, and I hope you're proud of that too. We spend our time focused on making sure that we're the best, that we take care of you like we would family. And I hope you feel that. And I'm also sure that that's why when we sent out 1,800 surveys of people we've talked with or interacted with or done something for, we got a 4.6 out of 5 rating. And if any of you are teachers in the crowd, that's an A. So, not bad. Sorry, I'm looking at the folks who made that happen in the back. Makes me happy. While I have your attention, I would also like to offer a brief update on your cooperative's wholly owned subsidiary. So, Como continues to grow and provide broadband connectivity to rural Missourians. We are currently building to underserved and unserved communities and have plans to help others in need. If you want to know where that is, you can log on to comoconnect.com and you'll get a feel for where we're building. You can be proud knowing that your cooperative remains at the forefront of the national effort to close the digital divide in rural America. I want to thank you for your support and the opportunity to lead this incredible organization. In my view, the people you have working for you make Como, your cooperative, best in industry. In conclusion, a politician once told me, if you ever want people to really pay attention, you say, in conclusion. All right, so in conclusion, thank you all for joining us at today's annual meeting. I know I speak for everyone here at Como when I say we appreciate the opportunity to serve you and this community. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Aaron. Now it's time to announce the 2024 O.B. Clark Award winner. O.B. Clark Award was set up in honor of our former board member, O.B. Clark, who's sitting down front here. He served on Como's board from 1973 until 2009. And during that time, he was the Como vice president from 1974 to 1977 and was president of the board from 1978 until 2008. The O.B. Clark Award was created to showcase the amazing compassion and leadership skills of employees who receive it. These employees have gone above and beyond to achieve our mission of improving the lives of the region that we serve. Recipients of this award will get to attend our national meeting, the 2025 NRECA annual meeting that's in Atlanta, Georgia, along with their spouse or other companion. And we're honored to announce the winners of the 2024 O.B. Clark Award are Grant Tanking and Jerry Vanderpool. And I'd like for them to come up. I'd like for them to be coming forward. In the spring of last year, Jerry and Grant were out in the field when they drove by the home of Barbara Turpin in Barnett, Missouri. Barbara was unloading a car full of groceries as they passed by. It was at that exact moment that she fell and hit her head. Witnessing the unfortunate event, Jerry and Grant quickly turned around, went back to check on Barbara and offer their help. At Como, we care for our communities and those we serve. The actions of Jerry and Grant going back to check on Barbara showcase the dedication and value we place on our members. Thank you to Jerry and Grant for your ongoing commitment and dedication to serving our members. Please join me on stage and accept this award for your outstanding service to our cooperative and community. Congratulations.
Thanks, Gene.
That's heavy.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Run off. We got the card there.
Okay. Got the card here. Congratulations. I would now like to take a moment to recognize the Board of Directors for the Como Cares Trust. You saw them up here earlier, but I'd like to introduce them. They manage the Operation Roundup program, and you can read about Operation Roundup on our website. As I state your name, would you please stand and remain standing until I introduce everyone, and then we'll give them a round of applause. Darrell King, Chairman. Michelle Higgins, Vice Chairman. Tina Potts, Treasurer. Elsie Drury, Secretary. Glenn Bain. Connie Hofstetter. Patricia Snyder. Daryl Spady. And Kurt Wilson. Please join me in giving this group a round of applause for the outstanding work. At this time, I would like to recognize the special guests that we have. We've had a lot of these are on tight schedules, and some have come by and have already left, so I wave if you are in the group. Taylor Blackwell on behalf of Senator Josh Hawley. Peyton Rudy on behalf of Congressman Mark Alford. Carrie Stewart, Constituent Affairs Office of Congressman Luetkemeyer. Curtis Gregory, who's running for State Senator. And Tim Taylor, from the House of Representatives, District 48. Local officials, Aaron Martin, Associate Circuit Judge, Montauk County Circuit Court. Joe Lutz, Presiding Commissioner, Montauk County. Cooperative CEOs, Brian Jacoby, Central Missouri. Chris Turner, Central Electric. Todd Kelly, Boone Electric. Clay Carroll, Manager of Member Services, and Brian Bacon with CFC. Let's give all of these guests an award. Tonight, we're blessed to have a group of retirees with us. These are individuals that have helped lay the foundation for the organization that we have today. Some of these folks remember the days when the lines were just going up and being installed, while some of them have just recently retired. All of them are an important part of who we are as an organization today. Would the retired Como employees in attendance please stand and be recognized? Tonight, we also have a few former board members who have joined us for our 85th annual meeting. I would ask you to stand and be recognized at this time. Former board members. Thank each one of you for joining us tonight. Now, at this time, do we have any unfinished business to bring before the membership? Any new business? Now I'd like to bring our Cooperatives Attorney, Doug Obley, back to present the results of the 2024 election of directors.
Let me first give you the results of the bylaw election. With respect to the suggested change to Article 7, Section 2, that bylaw provision passed by a vote of 1,268 to 681. With respect to the second bylaw update, which was to Article 7, Section 3, that bylaw revision also passed by a vote of 1,711 to 343. Now, with respect to the election of directors, first in District Number 1, the person receiving the most votes and who will serve the next term of 3 years is Catherine Lynn Page. Person receiving the most votes in District Number 2 and who will serve the next 3-year term is Gary Lee Harris. And finally, in District Number 3, the person who will be serving the next 3-year term in that district is Byron John Haldeman. Thank you.
Thank you for attending our 85th annual meeting. In closing, on behalf of the Board of Directors, please join me in giving this group of Como employees one more round of applause for all the work that they do. I would encourage you to stick around for just a moment for the announcement of the door prizes. For those who joined us tonight, it'll be following the adjournment of the meeting. The bill credit prizes will be announced Monday on our website and social media, and the winners will also be called. The bill credit prizes are randomly selected from anybody who voted, either online, via mail-in ballot, or in person. If any of you would like a moment we would encourage you to fill out the annual meeting survey. It's there on your table in front of you. And if you would fill that out or scan the code on the top, you can do it online. If you're a member who'd like to address any issue with the board this evening, we will be available to meet with you. And if you'll just go through the doors to my right, we will be meeting down that hallway after the close of this meeting. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I hear a motion? I have a motion. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion passes. We're adjourned. Thank you for attending the 85th annual meeting. I'll now turn it over to Patrick Wood to announce the winners of the door prizes.